I usually do mess this stuff up. We will get to see what the things to be. Okay. It is showing it. Might be a little late to this party. Might not be able to hear me, but let me talk in a nice, sexy baritone voice for everyone not listening, and for me of the future, since this is basically research. So, to start off today's live stream, just browsing through Creetosis Stag podcast. Horrible freaking production value on that, by the way. So I was going through and just checking some of these to see what the comments were pointing at, and got this little bit which I needed to verify, and shocker, I don't think Creed is right here. Let's watch out.
Fancy some side questing in the meantime. Speech will resolve Blood Ties, Tenpenny Tower, Power of the Atom, Rescue from Paradise, Trouble on the Home Front, Superhuman Gambit, basically the vast majority of named quests. Back to the main plot.
But you also left out the fact that there's only 13.
You gotta love this. He did not leave that out. He just didn't need to put it in. You're just hating. But this isn't why I'm here.
Whatever.
There's
a ridiculously tiny amount of quests.
There's 18 side quests.
Yeah. In total, that's ridiculous that there can only be that many.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can't...
In an RPG!
I also want to point out, too, that...
I want to point out, before I get to his point, is the RPG point is pointless. Really.
That in Fallout 3 is better than you think. Many a true nerd specifically said you can't speech your way through Rescue from Paradise, and now that he just said you can.
Yep.
So...
let's check that. So, Miniature Nerd specifically said you cannot speech your way through Rescue for Paradise. Now he says you can. He contradicted himself. How dare him? Let's see what he says.
Fallout quest. You see, first you've got to gain entry to the settlement of Paradise Falls, for which there are plenty of options, including the faint hint of a reputation system. You see, in another quest, Head of State, there's a conflict between slavers and slaves. If you side...
Okay, should have fast forward, but besides the point. Fun stuff, as always.
With the slavers, Paradise Falls actually remembers that, and you get let in automatically. The morality system has a use here as well. Very evil characters are allowed in immediately. Alternatively, there's a hard speech check, but it has to come with a substantial bribe.
What does that say? There's a hard speech check for Paradise Falls. Just one on the record. Probably not going to put in the video, but it's worth having things on the record. Can't say... What did he say? This horrible line. Let's go through it again.
By the way, you can't...
In an RPG!
So cringe.
I also want to point out, too, that in Fallout 3 is better than you think. Many a true nerd specifically said you can't speech your way through Rescue from Paradise.
That's what I wanted on the record. Coach, lawyer, whatever. Okay, done with that. Now it's going to get really boring. So, back to my research. See how boring this is going to look. Bunch of things wrong. This is my current script. I believe this is the right one. Lots of documents. Okay, let's get to the end. Very boring looking. Okay, 916. This is where I last left off. Let's continue.
Whereas the examples John gives represent something entirely different from this idea. Eden seeking to exterminate the impure. Or something entirely irrelevant. Braun torturing people for his own entertainment, and
Braun. See, I really think he has a really limited worldview on Braun. Okay? Not gonna go in it now. It's not even probably gonna be worth bringing up in the video, but might as well get it for the record.
and the Overseer genuinely
Go beyond subscribe.
Let's do this.
Join a channel to help your favorite creator create more.
God, the ads this man puts on.
It's up to them.
afraid of the dangers of the outside world. If that wasn't enough, John even misses his own point he was making here right at the end.
And then,
Okay, this is probably a better... Might need to cut this some. John misses some point. Let's see how this works.
right there in the middle of the very first town is the most literal representation imaginable of being haunted by the past.
Yeah, a little pompous, but give him an E for effort.
An atom bomb.
Being haunted by the past is far different than clinging to it.
Sorry about that. Haunted by the past. Let me rewatch that.
If that wasn't enough, John even misses his own point he was making here right at the end.
And there, right there in the middle of the very first town is the most literal representation imaginable of being haunted by the past. An atom bomb.
Being haunted by the past is
That would be being haunted by the past. Maybe he said something earlier about clinging. I would have to check his video. Might as well do it now since this is just
Fallout 3 is often grim. The
since Creed is a little bit slippery.
wasteland hasn't recovered from nuclear devastation. The pockets of civilization are fragile and insecure. In Arafu, they're about ready to give up.
Gonna have to go back, I think. Or not. Or not.
In Big Town, the people are initially pretty much completely despondent. This is a game that dwells on the horror of nuclear apocalypse. And accordingly, at a basic level, I think there's something fundamentally horrifying about the very presence of these operational nuclear weapons. America is in ruins, but there's still a few more nukes ready to go off yet. Fallout 3's grim world is haunted by its nuclear past, whether that's in the form of radiation that infects every ward.
Okay, that's the line. Clinging to the past. Clinging. Must have been pretty far back. Yeah, probably his first statement. Sheesh, checking on this shit isn't fun.
3's world design. Because like I just said, you can run off in any direction, so how is it to it and not everyone that sees it is going to want to obey? Well, Fallout 3 is ready to guide you. You see, there's a small sign in front of you promising us you step outside of the vault. Stay drawing your distance, the bright... Now I love Megata that I learned Easy Pete sleeps in the long town, made up of a group of houses, and it's just walking from one building to another bomb. It never bothered me though, because I always thought there was a fairly...
Yeah, maybe I should check his point before I move on.
far different than clinging to it. I feel like that's a really obvious thing to say, but I guess I have to say it. The whole idea of Old World Blues was about people refusing to let go of the past. So in what way is a reminder of the old world related to those so obsessed with the past that they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is? Simple answer. It isn't.
Okay, it's gonna take me longer. This is why doing a stream for this is not feasible. I mean, yeah, this is gonna be the marker I'm gonna pick. Unlike some people, I'm not just gonna spout some bullshit that sounds convincing and Rather insulting. Gonna have to clip this bit some. I'm actually gonna do some research. And back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, I don't even know what to say. Might as well find my place while I have this stream on. Yeah, didn't think this would be worth watching. Good for archive purposes. I'm a complete dumbass. You don't need to be smart to try to do this. You just need to be careful and pay attention. I think I even missed something that I'll have to go back over.
Has already failed to survive, whereas the examples John gives represent something entirely different from this idea, Eden seeking to exterminate the impure, or something entirely irrelevant, Braun torturing people for his own entertainment, and the Overseer genuinely afraid of the dangers of the outside world.
Okay, this is a better place to mark this off. Dum dum dum. Copy, not that other crap. Okay, gonna do this. He'll make my life easier if I don't have to siphon through all this bullshit, but that's the clip. Being haunted by the past of an atomic bomb. See, I can't confirm him talking about clinging to the past, which is something Creed injected into this. Not John. Let's go from here.
Where America was. We've seen this previously in the series, in the intro of Fallout 1. It's full of children, with absolutely no source LARPing as the wealthy elite, in a world where achievement factions, and has been made,
Warning against clinging to the past.
has been made, factions, and the smaller factions throughout the game. And Lonesome Road isn't about destroying all progress that has been made, which I'll dive deeper into shortly.
If Fallout 3 has a thesis, it's perhaps a warning against clinging to the past, repeating old mistakes, replaying old conflicts. It's a thing that New Vegas would pick up too.
Okay. Its thesis. I would have to break that down. Warning against clinging to the past. Whew. Mark this down. See, I don't agree with a lot of John's points, but still, even if I don't agree with it, this is more of a rhetorical analysis with some, oh yeah, that won't work because game hates me. I mean, yes, it will work. It's just a pain. Yeah, truly retard. Okay. Before I make myself look bad in front of myself. But yeah, I will have to mark that down. Even going dumber.